Hi everybody, it's me, host Brianna Whitney. As you know, we're in the middle of our season about the zombie hunter case, and we will be releasing more episodes on that investigation next week. But with breaking news on a major new true crime case happening this week, we want to bring you all the details in the homicide case of 41-year-old Benjamin Anderson, who went missing in Phoenix on New Year's Eve and was eventually confirmed found dead that same night. This Phoenix man seemed to suddenly vanish into thin air. This is a timeline from Benjamin's friends, the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, and our own photographer who was at the scene on what we know so far in this bizarre murder investigation.
This is True Crime Arizona, the podcast.
Friends and loved ones are frantically searching for a Phoenix man.
His Lexus was found burned.
And there's now a reward for any information to help find 41-year-old Benjamin Anderson.
Benjamin Anderson.
Benjamin Anderson.
Who is Benjamin Anderson?
I've known him for 24 years. We went to high school together. We went to college together for a brief period of time, and we've traveled a lot. And so I think just the closeness he has and the kindness he's been with his colleagues and his friends and his family is important.
That's Benjamin's close friend, Daniel Stachowiak. Our news crew met up with Daniel and others Sunday, January 2nd, as they were passing out flyers and searching for their missing friend. They were offering $10,000 for information leading to Benjamin's whereabouts.
Ben has a lot of people that report to him and he works with, and he's very close with his colleagues, his direct reports at his employer, and they all love him. He's probably one of the best managers I've seen. I used to work with him.
That same sentiment was echoed by Susan Disbanko.
I talk to him every day. He's the one person that besides my parents, that I speak to every single day. So I knew that something was amiss because when I tried calling him around 12:15 on New Year's Eve, his phone went straight to voicemail. When Betty White died, I texted him and I also said, hey, your phone seems to be off, I'm concerned.
Daniel and Susan met up at a parking lot off I-17 and Dunlap for the search. The area is a combination of office buildings, restaurants, and hotels. Our photojournalist Jim Fry, who often is the first photographer at a breaking news crime scene, met them there. He was immediately touched by how welcoming and dedicated Benjamin's group of friends were.
When I got there must have been at least 20, 25 people all getting together to hand out an updated flyer on the missing Benjamin Anderson. They were all huddled together, giving each other hugs and highs and kind of sobbing a little bit, and so they were all there. A large group of people were there.
At that time, they didn't know what had happened, but they wanted to talk to media to get the story out there right away.
That's correct. They were quite adept in getting the media and providing all the information, making themselves readily available so the story could get out quickly. What impressed me about the group of friends and co-workers and the whole group of people that were up there was their compassion. I mean, they were truly concerned for Benjamin's well-being. Never in the missing persons case have I ever worked on that I've ever seen a group of more dedicated people in finding their friend.
Benjamin was supposed to take care of his dog at his parents' house on the night of New Year's Eve.
His name is Butkus, who is the light of his life, the apple of his eye. He loved this dog more than just about anything. So the fact that no one had heard from him, and the fact that he did not appear at his parents' house to be with Butkus on New Year's Eve, which we all know is incredibly difficult for dogs and veterans who deal with PTSD due to the fireworks. So him not showing up at his parents' house and him not answering any of our calls was a definite cause for concern.
Something was really wrong here. Susan knew it in her gut.
I would tell him regularly how I thought that he was the best person that I knew and that he was the nicest person that I knew. Sorry. Because he was. He genuinely cared for people, and he loved them, and he would do anything for anyone, and he never wanted anything in return.
The story begins the morning of New Year's Eve, December 31st, when Benjamin was supposed to get together with Daniel Stachowiak.
Ben went missing on December 31st, and we were planning on meeting with him at 9:30 in the morning for brunch. It was a pre-planned brunch, very routine, nothing unusual. Ben called me at 8 a.m. and told me that he was feeling tired and that he wasn't able to make brunch. Also very, very normal. He had been driving a lot the day before, and he was tired. So, I just said, okay, we'll talk later. And he said he would call me later in the day, and that was the last I heard from him. About 6 o'clock p.m., his aunt called me and said that she hadn't heard from him, and he cares for his aunt. She lives in Sun City. He lives here in Central Phoenix, and she was concerned about his whereabouts.
Daniel had a key to Benjamin's condo. He lived nearby to his friend. So he went over to his condo to see if he could find him, or at the very least, look for any clues as to where he might be.
It appeared that he sort of left in a hurry. There was cash on the counter. His doors were locked first. There was cash on the counter. He wasn't there. I think what struck us a little bit was that there was a wet towel on his bed. So it appeared he had taken a shower at some point, but he never leaves a towel on his bed, or never left a wet towel on his bed. And his credit cards were there. So his personal credit cards, his debit card we found in a drawer. So we knew he left with his phone, his keys, his car wasn't there, but didn't take any cash that we can see or any credit cards. It started to turn from that point, wondering where he was, what was going on.
Daniel knew Benjamin drove a Lexus. They do a little research and make a call.
We ended up calling Lexus to get some more information about the vehicle's location. Now, unfortunately, Lexus knew where it was, they could see it, but they wouldn't tell us. They wouldn't give us that information. They refused until the Phoenix Police Department was involved, and they would share that with them. The Lexus was able to contact Phoenix Police later in the evening after we were insisting, and gave the vehicle's location. The vehicle was located at the Super 8 by Wyndham off of the I-17 in Dunlap.
That was certainly a random location to this group of friends, nowhere that Benjamin normally would be. Phoenix police officers head there.
At that point, a police officer called us, and it's about 10 o'clock in the evening, and said that they were at the Super 8, the vehicle was not there. We knew the vehicle was moving. Lexus after us pleading and begging, told us that the vehicle was somewhere on the Black Canyon Highway or nearby, and had left the Super 8. So it wasn't there. We were already in the area, a bunch of us were already in the area. We decided to go to the Super 8, checked out ourselves, the officers were still there, and then we came across the street to the Sheraton Crescent on I-17 in Dunlap, and we knew we just wanted to start looking at hotels, because that's primarily what's along this Black Canyon Highway.
Daniel and his friends searched the Sheraton parking lot and then the parking garage itself. This is where the case takes a very, very bizarre turn.
And we got to the 4th floor, and there was Ben's Lexus sitting on the 4th floor. There were 3 individuals. 2 of them were standing outside of the vehicle. One of them was sitting inside the vehicle. And we immediately noticed that was the Lexus. They immediately noticed us. They were backed in. We drove around the corner, and desperately we're calling 911. This is about 12:20 in the morning, so New Year's Day at this point. And they began to depart. So as they were leaving, we decided to give chase. They knew we were onto them, and they moved very quickly outside of the garage, turned onto the frontage road at I-17 in Dunlap, and then turned right into this very parking lot, and then went through the dirt roads across the way from the parking lot. We followed over curbs. The situation was starting to become dangerous at this point, and we continued to follow them. They stopped, began to back up, and then turned and left this parking lot, turned left to go down the frontage road the wrong way with their lights off. The situation then was becoming much more apparently dangerous, and we waited for the officers to appear.
It's now the dark of night, early morning hours on New Year's Day. The group of friends calls Lexus one more time, trying to get more information. They said Lexus told them the tracking device was now offline, likely tampered with, but they were able to get a final zip code and general area of where the very last tracking ping was before the device was turned off.
They mentioned the Cave Creek Complex Park, which is right here north of the Sheraton, and then that's when we decided approximately 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning to come back up here and drive around. And the last parking lot we came to was the one where the chase originally started, just north of the Sheraton, here at the UEI College. And at the north end of this college, right here is where the vehicle was found destroyed and burnt. It had already been distinguished by the fire department as well.
Somebody had posted video of the car burning to a social media app. At the time, Daniel didn't know what he had been looking at was Benjamin's car.
The video of the car on fire was caught on the Citizens app, and it was broadcast live. We were monitoring Citizen, but we didn't think anything of it because there's a lot of incidents that were happening on New Year's Day. At this point, the car had been reported stolen. So now we have a stolen police report. We have a missing persons report, and we noticed he has a duffel bag, a unique duffel bag. It was in the trunk of the vehicle, the burned out vehicle, obviously destroyed. He also had a lamp that he had purchased 3 days ago from Costco. It was in the trunk of the vehicle, so we knew it was his. And the cell phone was last pinged at 8:27 a.m. the day he went missing. And there's been no activity since.
When our team spoke with Daniel and Susan at the search, Benjamin's body had not been found yet. But Daniel talked vaguely about the kind of work Benjamin did. He had a managerial role where he helped people who may have fallen on tough times that could include rehab. At the time, it was something Daniel theorized could be at play in Benjamin's disappearance.
I think Ben likely met somebody who he wanted to help, whether it was helping them to go to rehab or stop using drugs or something of that effect. And that encounter likely turned south.
Monday night, January 3rd, we were in the newsroom preparing for our nighttime newscasts. I had been wondering all day if we would get any updates on the Benjamin Anderson case. And then the email came in, a release from the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office that read,
"Good evening all. On Friday, December 31st, 2021, MCSO responded to the location of Table Mesa Road, west of I-17, for a body that was found in the desert. The MCSO homicide unit assumed the investigation, and today the identity of the descendant was identified as 41-year-old Benjamin Anderson. Benjamin had previously been reported as a missing person to the Phoenix Police Department this same day. This investigation is actively open, and we ask anyone with knowledge of the incident to please contact MCSO at 602-876-TIPS or 602-876-1011.
How far was his body found from where the car was found?
I would say as a crow flies, maybe 25, 30 miles north.
So not close.
Not close at all. According to MCSO, the body was located near Table Mesa Road, which puts it up in New River, which puts it 30 miles north.
And the homicide unit's investigating this.
That's correct.
Jim Fry was beside himself. This case truly made no sense. How did Benjamin get from point A to point B? Why was the car burned? And most importantly, was this a targeted attack, or was he just at the wrong place at the wrong time?
Benjamin basically lives in the same neighborhood I do. And a home invasion or some other nefarious crime, it just doesn't happen in this neighborhood. I was just speculating on, could Benjamin have literally just gone to the Circle K to pick up something, gone to a Starbucks, and was carjacked? Because there was no, according to his friends, there was no indication of forced entry into his condo.
Let's assume he was carjacked. I mean, how rare is it that we see the driver or the owner of the car killed in a carjacking? I feel like we don't normally see that.
Right, you're absolutely right. This is, I mean, a standard carjacking is point a gun at somebody, throw their butt onto the ground, and take off in their car.
Almost always.
Almost always.
there's so many questions here.
To me, it's almost baffling. I mean, after I got done interviewing his friends, it just was, there's something very, very suspicious about this whole case.
Both the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office and the Phoenix Police Department will not give interviews on this case at this point. Several of Benjamin Anderson's friends wanted to talk to our reporters today about the update and the case, but told us they were told by the Sheriff's Office not to talk to media or talk publicly about the case right now. These are all the details we know about the investigation up to this point. We will stay on top of any and all developments as they become available.
In cases like this, it's such a high-profile case that I'm assuming that not only Phoenix PD, but also Maricopa County Sheriff's Department are working diligently to find out who's responsible for this.
If you have any information on what happened to Benjamin Anderson on New Year's Eve, please call the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. True Crime Arizona, the podcast, is hosted by me, Brianna Whitney, and produced by Sergio Hernandez. This episode was edited by Shane Egan. It's a production of Arizona's Family, 3TV, CBS 5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.